about what it means to be a gamer got us thinking about how whack it is to gatekeep gaming. So this week we're becoming an open book, and in no real order, we're giving you our top 10 games you should be playing right now. I mean, not right now. First finish the show. You know what I'm saying? We're doing a good job. I mean, stick around and look, but afterwards you should definitely, put these games and take a look. So anyway, God, do that, Dandy. All right. So I'm starting us off tonight with number 10 with It Takes Two. It Takes Two is an action adventure game developed by Hazelight Studios and published by EA under the EA Originals label. The game was released for Windows and PS4, PS5, Xbox One, and Xbox Series XX as of March 2021. It has Cody and May, a married couple, are planning on a divorce after Cody argues with May about her working all the time, and May arguing back that Cody never shows even the littlest amount of appreciation for her job. After telling their daughter, Rose, that they're about to divorce, Rose takes her handmade dolls, which look like her parents, into the family shed, and she tries to repair their relationship by play acting it out. In this, the parents find themselves trapped inside of the dolls' bodies in consequence to Rose shedding a tear and landing on the dolls. So, Rose wanted her parents to work it out so bad that she made dolls and played in the shed to fix it. I mean, I can understand that. That's very sweet. But damn, her tears put them in them dolls, and now they gotta actually work it out.
Damn.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Damn.
It's spicy.
Ooh.
That's tough.
That's number 10. That's hard body.
Damn.
I'm gonna play that. Yeah, I'm gonna need that.
Right. Like
I'm gonna need some therapy time after it, probably. But goddamn.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a looker for your boy. When I was looking it up, I was like, oh God, okay, this is more real than it needs to be. Okay, Hazellight, you can chill. You can tone it back a little bit. But it's all good. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It takes a creative mind to come up with something like that, and I honestly feel like it may be cathartic for some. You feel what I'm saying? So I can rock with it. But moving on here, what do we got at number 9, Kev?
Yeah, number 9, guys, is Psychonauts 2. Like the first game, the player controls Raz, a young acrobat that is training to become a psychonaut, a member of an international task force that uses their psychic abilities to stop those that perform nefarious deeds with their own psychic forces. Within Psychonauts 2, which follows directly from the events of the interstitial virtual reality game Psychonauts and the Rhombus of Ruin, Psychonauts try to learn who was really behind the kidnapping of their leader, unveiling a deep mystery surrounding the organization's founding and Raz's family history. To uncover the mystery, Raz enters the mindscapes of various characters to discover clues. Within these mindscapes, Raz can perform a variety of new and returning psychic abilities that allow him to maneuver through the often twisted minds and battle the mental creatures they produce. Some other things about this game is they really tackle different aspects or the taboo aspects of a lot of mental health. There's actually a disclaimer in the beginning that basically was advising people that this was all based on fiction and these characters aren't real. For instance, some of the enemies you fight against, grief, or not necessarily grief, but like regret and anxiety and stuff like that, which often pops up in some of the minds of some of these characters that you're in. So it's a really kind of deep game when you really get into it. Not everyone was super happy when it came to Game Pass and was announced last year's E3, because I remember Psychonauts originally just one of the unheralded OG games of the 2000s that was really great but didn't do well commercially. But yeah.
And that sounds like it sounds like a real mind, if you will. You feel what I'm saying? I'm down for the party, you know what I'm saying? But I'm glad they put the little disclaimer in there, to let people know, it's not real, because these are some real issues. But I dig video games that deal with real issues. I really do. Like I feel like because it's a little bit more personal, like different from watching a movie, because
Yes.
you actually get to play
Interact. Yeah.
character and deal with it.
Yeah,
as
there's
the
that
character.
therapeutic aspect, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So it was a great choice at number 9. But we're gonna keep on up this list here. Nelly, what we got at number 8?
We have Pokemon Unite. If y'all have been following anything that I'm doing, y'all know that I'm definitely playing this game. It is Pokemon's first MOBA style game. It features standard 10-minute matches, which are 5v5, along with varying counts for 5-minute quick matches that you can do with 3 or 4 player games. You can solo queue, you can create your own squad now and play specifically with with friends that you know and create your own kind of meta within the game. And it features a lot of our favorite Pokemon in different like melee style formats, including some that may not have been your fave. I'm not gonna shit on anyone's Pokemon right here. I'm not gonna do it. But it has. I'm not gonna start that today. But it also has Twitch viewership that is already competing with Sword and Shield, and in some days has actually overcome Sword and Shield viewership on Twitch, which I think is really, really amazing. They recently did an update that adds cross-platform playability so that you can play both on Switch and on mobile. Both are totally free to play. Yeah, it's really, really accessible, which I really, really love. Y'all know I'm all about accessibility in gaming. And the mobile release also came with something that I think is super, super exciting, which is a spectate mode, which I think speaks to the future of the game with competitive formats. Spectator mode is something that we've asked for in pretty much every Pokemon game that's ever come out and never really gotten it before. But we have it now. And so I'm hoping that means that Pokemon will start taking Twitch competitions and different platforms like that more seriously.
Awesome. Yeah, this
Nice.
Pokemon. I don't own a Switch. However, I've heard so much about this game, and like especially being a part of this
circle.
This circle. I've just united. We're playing Unite after this. We're playing Unite after this. What are you doing? You want to sleep? No. All right, we're playing Unite. So
yeah. And now you can play on your phone. And I did some test runs back and forth. Yeah, I did some test runs back and forth from Switch to my phone, and it has the same kind of playability. There's a little bit of pros and cons on both, I'll say. Like, definitely depending on your play format, you can get different benefits from either side of it. But yeah, it's super playable in both formats. So yeah, awesome. I'm into it.
It is fantastic.
Now you can play with us, Sax.
Yeah, it sounds like I'm gonna be caught up in some fuckery. Okay, that's amazing. No, I'm not bitter about it at all. Moving on our list. Number 7, we've got Cyberpunk 2077. Cyberpunk 2077 is an action RPG developed and published by CD Projekt. The story takes place in Night City, an open world set in a cyberpunk universe. Players assume the first-person perspective of a customizable mercenary known as V, who can acquire skills in hacking and machinery with options for melee and ranged combat. And with all the noise that Cyberpunk, made in its making and coming into being and then being released and not being what everyone thought it was for past gen consoles. We're going to go ahead and call them last gen consoles because the current gen is the PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S. But for PC players, apparently it was a good time. It was a good time. But, my PC unfortunately can't handle that garbage right now because there's not enough space. And my Xbox is an Xbox One and not an Xbox Series X. And I am not going to destroy my Xbox and my television from frustration because of this game. But from what I was able to see, the gameplay looks wonderful. It looks like it's a great time. And I do someday want to play the game, like, for sure. Like, it's definitely, like, it's funny that it's on the list of games you should be playing right now. I want to play this game. Just not right now because I don't have the capability to play the game right now appropriately.
That's the genius behind why it's on the list. You see, it's like you should be playing. We all should be playing this game right now, but we kind of can't.
Right? it's just one of those things.
Yeah.
But enough about Cyberpunk 2077. We're going on with the list. Cav, what's number 6 on the list?
At number 6, I need you guys to put your tray tables in a lock position and your seats in upright position. Fasten your seat belts as we're clear for takeoff. It's Microsoft Flight Simulator. Microsoft Flight Simulator is exactly as it sounds. It is a simulator of flying apparatuses, from single engine airplanes all the way up to the big Airbus 747s, whoever makes those. Right, you can fly all of them, and it's great because it's almost overwhelmingly great. You can literally push just about every single button. Like, I don't know if you've ever been on a plane and you see the cabin doors open, you peek and you see like the dash and the helm, and it's like all these buttons. You can push all those buttons, guys, on Flight Simulator. I don't know what they do, but you can push them. You know, sometimes I'll be flying and I push something, and then I keep hearing these, ominous beeps going off, and I'm like, oh, that's not good. We should probably cut the batteries back on. So yeah, you can do all these things, and it got a 38-year. Geez, that's a long time. It's the longest running software product line for Microsoft. Fun fact. First time, actually. Yeah, I remember it was one of the first games I've ever played, and I was so happy when I found out that it was coming to Game Pass. Instantly downloaded it and hopped in and just flew around because it's fun. And if you have anxieties about flying in planes, this might help you kind of alleviate those, because then you can kind of see oh, this is how they work. So yeah.
What if you just keep crashing it though?
Well,
I have anxiety, so I'm saying it.
Well, then it wasn't my fault of the aircraft; it was the user, which I'm not sure helps, but
I should be flying it. That's valid.
Yeah.
I see in the chat, Awesome Ray put in flying apparatuses. Is it flying apparati?
Yes.
Apparatuses, is it plural?
It's apparatus. Apparatuses. Yeah, I don't know actually. Yeah.
But so it sounds like a good time.
It is. It's a nice relaxing game, so I'm not sure if they'll make you a gamer if you play it, but I mean, you should definitely check it out.
Nice shot back to our deep dive there. But you're not privy to being in the air. Maybe you're privy to being at sea, which is number 5 on our list. Sea of Thieves. Sea of Thieves is a first-person action-adventure game developed by Rare and published by Microsoft Studios. In the game, players get to cooperate with one another and explore an open world via a pirate ship, and the final boss is excited about this. It is making its way. Anyway, concerning everything, it's Sea of Thieves, when it first came out, was just this humongous sandbox with nothing to do. But now, Jack Sparrow's in the game. Jack Sparrow is in the game. So if you know anything about pirate life, you already know what time it is, and it is great. It's a great time. They've just recently dropped their season 4 update as of, I believe, September 23rd. Same time Nintendo Direct did their thing. And there's so much stuff that can be done. You can travel under the water, and you can look for siren treasure covered in all kinds of stuff, and run around and get exploded and a whole bunch of stuff. It's just a great time. If you're looking for something that it can definitely be stressful. We're not going to talk about the PvP where we got 0 points in the arena, which should be virtually impossible, but that definitely happened. It can get really competitive, but it is also really, really fun. And it's a game that if you want something different, and the animation is beautiful. I've never seen prettier water in any video game. It is fantastic. Amazing. It is amazing.
Yeah.
So final
I love watching y'all play it. Y'all fucking wild the fuck out every time y'all play it. I think half of Saxon-based chats are just y'all being drunk fools on fucking Sea of Thieves. Just showing your whole ass. Your whole ass.
It's so fun. I one day am going to get pissed drunk and actually play that game. And
please do, please.
see how well that plays out. And the final boss is disappeared into the night. Unfortunately, that's something I have to worry about later. But enough about the final boss. Let's move on to number 4 on this list, Ghost of Tsushima. Did you take care of that for us, Nelly?
Yes, and this is very specifically the director's cut, which I'm really, really excited about. If you have spoken to Jake for more than 5 seconds, you will have heard him talk about Ghost of Tsushima as well. It is a super, super beautifully animated game. Even when it first came out on PS4, and I believe it's also on computer. Don't quote me on that one 100%. I'm more familiar with PS4. But it is beautifully, beautifully animated. It goes through a very historical take of Jin Sakai, a samurai who's on a quest to protect Tsushima Island during the first Mongol invasion of Japan. If you get the director's cut, it is either an additional game, or if you haven't purchased it already, or you can buy it as an upgrade if you already have it, which is an upgrade on the graphics. Not just if you buy the PS5 version, but on the PS4 version as well. It upgrades the graphics. It's super, super beautiful. I highly recommend it. The studio, you can tell it's developed by Sucker Punch Production, originally from 2020. They were very meticulous on making sure that they were very accurate and very true to honor the subject material that they were taking from, and I really, really value that in a game. I highly recommend. It's also an open world game, which y'all know I adore. You can just explore for ages. So while there is a storyline, there's an open world element that can keep you playing for a really, really long time that makes it replayable. Have y'all played it at all? It's pretty. It's very pretty.
I don't own a PlayStation. This is why, but I desperately want to play the game so bad.
It's so pretty. It's so good. It's really, really excellent storytelling. You can tell that they put a lot of heart into it. It was very, very well made. Yeah.
I've seen nothing but good things, and it makes me sad that I haven't played it. Like I just need to play it.
It takes me to a place where video games initially was. No co-op, no matchmaking, no anything like that. Just a great story and time, and just play. And that's I love games like that. And it looks like it's all of that and then some. I've watched people play it. I've watched Corey Kenshin play it on YouTube, and it's amazing. And out of envy, I want to play the game so bad. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But not moving far from the country that is Japan, we are moving on to number 3 in our countdown. Kev, what is that, bro?
Staying on the island, just going, I guess different island, actually the main island, in Yokohama. Yakuza number 3, Yakuza Like a Dragon. Like a Dragon is an RPG developed and published by Sega. It is the 8th main release in the Yakuza series and was released in Japan and Asia for PS4 on January 16th, 2020, and had its worldwide release on November 10th, 2020 for Microsoft. It's different from the other Yakuzas, however, that it is turn-based style RPG, while the others were a button-mashing beat-em-up style of the game, which, by the way, for this style, just this game in general, I think it's great. Generally not a fan of RNGs, unless it's like Pokemon. But this one works very well. It doesn't feel stale, the fighting system, which is sometimes a problem that I do see with a lot of that stuff. But this one's great. It's a game that doesn't take itself too seriously in a story that is pretty freaking serious. So I love this game, and I highly recommend to anyone who hasn't played it yet. Even if you haven't played the other Yakuza games, like I haven't, I still highly recommend just getting into this one.
Yeah, it's a wonderful, wonderful game. It is the first Yakuza game that I played, and the final boss is happy about it. And you need to play this game. I can say nothing else about it. You have to experience this game for yourself. It is such such a masterpiece, and it's well put together.
Yeah.
And that's all I can say without going into just complete detail. So it's worth the play, 100%. Sorry, I got clear my mouth. That was gross. So moving on. That was this weird segue. I'm sorry. I was just talking, and it was just like it was just I don't know what I wasn't doing nothing. Anyway, we're gonna just move on to the second on the countdown. Natalie, could you hit us with number 2 on the countdown, please?
Absolutely. We have Red Dead Redemption number 2. Number 2 originally came out in 2018, but obviously with the state of the world, we're back to replaying old games in our lives right now. So we are absolutely enjoying this Rockstar game. It starts off in 1899, kind of at the turn of the century, in, the Wild Wild West. Kind of that lifestyle is on the decline in the game. And so you are John Marston, and you are trying to kind of recreate this atmosphere of this of just that like Wild Western aspect, right? Like the Red Dead series is all about like the Wild West, everything that you're doing in there, kind of this like, it gives me mad Clint Eastwood vibes. If I didn't hate Clint Eastwood as a person and he was on a video game instead, I would play this instead. It's super, super fun. One of the things I love is that they hid so many Easter eggs that people are still on the hunt for them. I think that that's why it's so relevant right now, is because there were so many things that developers hid in the game, and they were like, you need to look for these things. And then no one ever found them. And I think so many people also gave up because they also admitted that some of them were mistakes, and they didn't actually make it in the game. They just made it into the playthrough, writings that they had. And people were like, oh, those are fake. And then, the apocalypse happened again, and people were like, hey, let's try to find all of those Red Dead Redemption 2 Easter eggs. So it's super, super fun. I enjoy watching people attempt to find the missing Duchess. I don't think they're ever going to find her. I think that they took her out of the game. I think it's fake. I don't think it's ever going to happen, but people, they're still trying.
The fact the fact that it's even a thing in the game is great. And one thing I loved about this game the most is the fact where, I guess, is it okay to spoil it? It's been, 3 years?
Yeah, it's been a minute. It's almost 4.
Where I intended playing this game being an outlaw, right? I was gonna rob people, banks, whatever. I didn't care. This was the West, right? And then you get tuberculosis after beating the shit out of somebody. And then I have this moral dilemma, like, wow, I can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and I'm gonna do everything the right way now. And it was weird. I was like, this game had this kind of pull on me where I made a internal moral decision on something fictionally that I was interacting with.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those. It's almost a tearjerker too, because when you're playing, because you get to play as John Marston after you played Arthur Morgan's story. And
R.I.P. my horse Nimbus.
Bruh, we're not going to talk about that. I just had to relive that. Oh, thank you, I appreciate you. But no, like going through John Marston's stories, like you said, like once you find out he has TB, which is basically a death sentence in 1899, low key is one now if you can't get treated. But it's a classic. It's like that game in my opinion is already a classic. Like
it's a good boy.
Yes. Just like if you didn't try to talk like Arthur Morgan when you played this game, you didn't play this game. Like that's just what it is. Like you definitely tried to mimic Arthur Morgan at least one time.
I was low key doing that walking my dog. Easy girl. That's a good girl.
Exactly.
I'm so bad at accents. It just anything I say, no.
Yeah.
They were like, you're having a stroke is what's happening. Like that's.
Well, even though Red Dead Redemption 2 in the Wild Wild West in 1899 is so much fun, number 1 on our list, we got to go way into the future. And number 1 on our list is the Mass Effect, the Legendary Edition. If you ain't playing this game, I don't know what you doing with yourself. Mass Effect Legendary Edition is a compilation of the video games of the Mass Effect trilogy, Mass Effect, Mass Effect 2, and Mass Effect 3. It was developed by BioWare and published by EA. All 3 games were remastered with visual enhancements, technical improvements, and gameplay adjustments. What I will say in the realm of visual enhancements, but better than what it was originally when it came out. As far as technical improvement and gameplay adjustments, I played through the first one, on the second one now. The fact that they took out the combat style in the first game and switched it to what it is in 2 and 3, wow, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Because the gameplay, I'm going to be one of those gatekeeper gamers for a second real quick. You ain't really played the first Mass Effect until you played the first Mass Effect, where when you aimed your sniper rifle down the hallway and you looked north, south, east, and west at the same exact time if you didn't have the stabilization all the way up. It was awful.
Yeah.
The combat in the first game was awful. But the first game had the best story. The first game had it was just amazing. It was a brand new experience. And them bringing it back in the Legendary Edition, having access to all 3 games again, even in its inconsistencies as far as storyline and its nuances, it's still my favorite video game franchise actively. You know what I mean? Probably neck and neck, maybe a tier under Shenmue, and that's just personal nostalgia for me. But Mass Effect was and is still amazing, and I cannot wait for this new one that comes out. And Kev, I know you have played through Legendary Edition, and it's like that.
Well, that's ultimately how this kind of got on our list, because we all, when we were putting our picks in, I think we all basically added this one. But yeah, I think there's so many things that this game does, even considering where it was before its time, just the diversity of choice and the diversity of characters. I think that was the important thing, was you were befriending aliens, you know. In some cases even romanticizing aliens. I mean,
absolutely,
romance.
That is my main reason for playing the game. 100%.
Yes.
It's dating aliens. Yep.
Yeah, and I think this game did so many things. I think just from the industry as a whole, and I think it doesn't necessarily get the credit I think it deserves, just for how far ahead of its time it was. And of course it's had its pitfalls, and doesn't come without some controversy, i.e. Mass Effect 3, specifically the ending. But I need to. I got derailed a little bit by GTA and 2K, but I need to really get back in this, because I'm still in the second game. And it's just it felt when I played it, it felt because I hadn't replayed either of the Mass Effects since they first initially came out, and it felt like I was playing it all over again.
Right, and that's the feeling that I got. Now, Nelly, I heard you talking about that's why you played Mass Effect to date the aliens. You know what I'm saying? I get that. It's a real thing.
It was to your point, and you saying that the graphics, and not the graphics, but the controllability of it has gotten better for Legends for the remake, makes me feel like maybe I could go back. But romancing aliens is the only thing that drove me through the absolutely awful gameplay through the first one. It was especially I have dyslexia, but I have a very visual form of it. So when I'm looking at a computer screen, sometimes it's difficult for me to make out what things are. So video games sometimes are nice because they make things very clear. Nothing about that game made sense to me visually. I would look at the screen during a battle and be literally, what the fuck is going on? There's just blurs. Yeah, that's how I felt. That's how I felt. I was like, this game is ableist. I don't care. This game is ableist because it sucks so bad.
Yeah.
That's how I felt.
It can be a lot. Yeah, it can be a lot to look at one time. There's no lie about that there. But awesome game, nonetheless, deserving of the #1 spot. But with that, we also have some, honorable mentions. One of the honorable mentions is a game called 12 Minutes. I believe it's called 12 Minutes or just 12 Minutes, where you cycle through the same 12 minutes over and over again and discovering things. And it is an amazing playthrough. I saw Sad Gaming, he put some things on here as far as what his top 10 would be. And there's a couple of things on here that I would say are honorable mentions as well. The Spider-Man Miles Morales, the God of War, you know what I'm saying? Those things should be on there. Games that you should, give a shot for sure. Unfortunately, if you're not a PlayStation user,
Yeah.
you're not gonna play those. You know what I'm saying, for obvious reasons. But you know, not to take away from the fact that you should be playing them anyway. So
Yeah.
that will wrap it up for this episode of Geek Life Live tonight. I hope you've enjoyed everything today.